Hello, everyone, and welcome to this meeting of the Events Committee. Thank you all for bracing the cold and the wind and the rain. Do we have any apologies, Nathan?
We've received apologies from Councillor Mary Thomas, Councillor Howard Thomas, Councillor Alice Mann, and Councillor Neil Butterworth and Councillor Dorothy Lord.
Wonderful. Is there any declaration of interest? Cheers for that, everyone. On to the minutes of the last one. Can I have a proposal and a seconder if they're all okay? Thank you, Ian. Thank you, Andy. There's no one here for the public forum, so straight on to East Rincon, Nathan.
So East Rincon will be back on the 4th of April. We've got a variety of different entertainment taking place throughout the day, including face painting, Easter egg hunt. We've got live music from Soul Gravy and then Ali and Joe. We've got craft activities, crazy golf, surf simulator, pillow wars. We've got a mobile farm, ice cream making workshop, Punch and Judy shows, comedy magic shows, balloon modelling, and we've got Alice and the Mad Hatter for our walkabout act. All the operational elements for the event have been booked, so that's first aid, waste management, traffic management, portable toilets, any licences we need. They've all been submitted and sorted out, and we have the videographer booked for that event as well. Farmhouse Biscuits have very kindly agreed to sponsor that event once again, which is great. We're now working on stall holders and all the other bits of information, and the fairground's been booked as well for that event. Now a successful tenderer was appointed. So that's pretty much it for Easter.
How far off
the roadworks on Craddock Road should be finished. We've raised a question today just to find out if they can give us any more information on when Craddock Road's meant to be finished.
When Craddock Road hasn't got roadworks on it. We shut the road and Craddock Road has roadworks on it. Don't be all over us again. Just the northeast monorail.
I do believe that the bus station is due for, I think, 16 weeks.
10 weeks.
10 weeks. So it should be done by the next phase. The phase after that, which will be the remainder. I don't know if that 10 weeks will be including the two-way traffic on Craddock.
That's what I'm.
Yeah, I don't know
about.
I'll say the first phase is to do the bus station.
Yeah.
Second phase will be to do the remainder.
It's possibly only this event.
Yeah, that's very true, Nathan. Has there been any increase in demand for stalls this year, or?
It's pretty much the same as normal. The only thing we've had an increase in really is cost of everything, but obviously that's expected. But we are working on sponsorship and other ways of generating an income to help with the cost of the events, but it's just pretty much as normal for stall holder demands.
Perfect. Next one is the Grand Prix, Nathan.
So the Grand Prix is earlier this year, so British Cycling's moved the dates of the whole series forward. So that's on Tuesday, 16th of June. So the operational elements have been arranged. That's the use security first aid, traffic management, road closure, road cleaning. And we've booked anything else that we need. So we've got the additional PA, the barriers, portable toilets, the videographer, and then we've just pretty much got the VIP area to arrange. And a couple of bits of marketing and PR, but they're all under control. Fort Vale have kindly agreed to sponsor the elite races again, which is great. We are on the lookout for a support race sponsor and a youth race sponsor because we've lost those last 2 years. McAdams have kindly agreed to sponsor the barriers, and then Hope Technology have kindly agreed to sponsor the first aid provisions in the banner printing. And we've also got quite a few local banner sponsors. So we brought back the local banner sponsors this year where they can sponsor the Grand Prix, the Gala and the Family Fun Day at £150, and that they get the banner design printed, displayed, and then after the events they get the actual banner to keep. And we've got around about 21 signed up for that so far. I think there's about 6 spots left, and that's it, which I think is pretty good going. But everything's being arranged for the Grand Prix. Like I say, we are just looking for a support race sponsor and a youth race sponsor, and then we'll be ready to go.
Is there any difference in getting a road closed for a two-way road and the risk of a one-way road?
We've sent the application into LCC, but they've not commented on it. However, Councillor Clegg did mention today that phase 2 of the works in the town centre we need to check, because when they're doing the work on Market Street, it may affect the Grand Prix. So we've emailed LCC today just to clarify.
Yeah, because that's what I'm about to say. Knowing our look, LCC will still be doing work on it come winter. But thanks for the updates. Any more questions for Nathan?
You're very optimistic if you think LCC are going to be that quick.
Oh, you know, you've got to be optimistic in times like this. But on to the Gala, which is the Saturday straight after the race.
Yeah, so busy week that week. But Congala's back on the 20th of June. All the operational elements have been arranged. So that's your first stage waste management, your traffic management, your road closure, overnight security, because we'll be installing the infrastructure on the Friday. All the stage has been booked. Pretty much everything infrastructure-wise has been arranged. Got a variety of entertainment, including some new bits as well. So we've got face painting, crazy golf, climbing wall, rodeo banana, free fall, circus workshops and shows, punch and judy, wrestling and drumming workshops. We've got stilt walkers and superheroes and villains booked for the parade, and it'll also be led by Rainbow Drumming Circle. We've got a variety of stage entertainment. It's pretty much live music throughout the day, and then in the arena we've got local dance groups performing within the arena, and we've also got a BMX stunt show in the arena, which should be quite good. We've timed it so if when the live music stops on the stage, you'll have a dance act in the arena to make sure that there's constantly something going on without any clashes, and the videographer's been booked for that again.
Just one question. Have we got anything in place or in planning for if the weather is inclement?
In terms of,
we've had over the years, we've had occasions where we've had thunderstorms and torrential downpour, but I'm just wondering if we've got anything in place that would not alleviate obviously the weather, but at least traffic management on the fields, same as any covers that we might need for on the stage, anything like that. At least so if it's fine, it's fine. But if it's inclement weather or forecast nearer the time, we can actually put something in place to say we can still have a decent day.
We don't at the minute, but I'll look into it.
Yeah, I think it's just something to look at. It's just that we've had like the Fun Day last year or the Gala 2 years ago where we had torrential rain.
Yeah.
I'm just wondering if it's worth having.
Well, it was Gala, wasn't it, 2 years ago?
Yeah.
For a real wet.
I think it's worth having something even at this stage of planning. If
the only thing really we've got in place is with the fairground, they've got to mat on and off the field, regardless of whether it's cracking the flag or whether it's wet, because obviously we've got to protect that land. But in terms of traffic management going up to the field or on the stage and
events that we're putting on, I mean, obviously you don't want to where a band's playing and electrics, and you've got the downpour.
Yeah, I'll have a look into it and update for the next meeting.
No worries, thank you.
Only other one. Talked about that for last night. Coming up Harrison Drive, on your left hand side, there are two places for crossing. When you get to White Road, there's two places for crossing. All four had cars on last time, which meant technically the only way people could actually get into the park when they were coming up Harrison Drive was on the other right hand side. When you get to the top of the right hand side, you have to cross the two-way traffic. And the other thing that came up last time, used it in a way, but I don't think quite as well as we can, is advertising the fact that the bus comes to the bottom of Harrison Drive. And try and get more people not to bring the car if you can. Thank God that's good. But they definitely don't have to crossing off the switch on those people.
Yeah, I think that's a good suggestion. Hopefully, calm some of the traffic and like the parking issues that the residents face when we do hold like obviously the fun day in the gala up at Holt House in the Alkin Courts.
Yeah.
In fairness, it's in all better I thought people, to be honest. They were all rolling forward here, putting the cars in front of the crowd. Did a couple of where you were letting cars around the
Yeah, well, I've made a note and we'll make sure there's plenty of cones out and stuff to stop people stopping and parking where they shouldn't be. And we do have some signs that say no event parking, which we can put out.
Perfect. And neither the Grand Prix or the Gala clash with an England game. So we're very, very fortunate with that, and there should be like the World Cup this summer.
Is it going ahead?
Yeah, so neither of the well, Canada, Mexico, and the country that shall not be named. Yeah, it's on actually on the 17th instead of the 16th, so we're actually should get a decent attendance for that. On to the fun day, Nathan.
So pretty much everything's been done for the family fun day. So all the operational stuff, so your first stage waste management, your stage, toilets, your temporary events notices in your overnight security, because again we'll be installing the infrastructure on the Saturday afternoon. We've got face painting, mobile farm, a couple of new inflatables. So we've got a rock and roller, duck and run, archery, inflatable hungry hippos, Punch and Judy. We've got Princess Walkabout acts, and then we've got a smoke breathing dragon this year instead of the dinosaurs. On the stage, we'll have a variety of live music again on the stage throughout the day. And then in the arena, we've got Pendle Academy of Dance performing, other local dance groups, and then we've got a stunt performance from Dangerous Steve, which should be good. And McAdams have kindly agreed to sponsor the arena for the Family Fun Day, which is great. And obviously we've got the local banner sponsorship that brings a little bit of money in for that event as well. We'll have the fairground and the giant inflatables like we did in previous years, because the provider we've used for the past couple of years has won the contract again, which is.
Just one thing I'd like to make up nice to both. See what we've got on the garden. These can advertise it's ready from the only reason is it's playing for those who are as walk around with it, or it's when they're on a league and they get talents. We're just going to be careful with people aren't getting caught up.
I'll have a look to see what we can put out there.
Thank you for that.
It's specifically.
Yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Last year, the agility was cancelled for days, and then people were bringing the dog.
Yeah, people need to be more conscientious of the weather and the environment around it. But Ian?
Yeah, it's a difficult one because at the end of the day, it's the parks, and I can understand if it's if it's like we got one of these rare summer events where we've got So the Sahara Desert type temperatures, but on a normal situation, I think you're saying to people, no dogs, no dog, etc. It's just going to put a lot of people off, and I don't think it's fair. I don't think there's as many issues as people are making out with dogs.
The issue you've got is when you've got lots of people in a very small place, and you've got people with dogs. We see it all the time up here when we have events, and they've got dogs which are like miniature horses, and then they're walking across, and they've got a lead which then blocks the whole footpath. This is one of the issues.
Yeah.
Then you've got the small dogs where last year I actually stood on one because I couldn't see it because it was under my bloody feet. But then when you've got people with the extended leads and then they stand there and let it walk off, you're getting, you are causing problems.
Yeah, but it's still going to be problematical. I say it is it's a park at the end of the day. It's not a private garden, it's a park. And say to people, you cannot. It could cause a lot of arguments with people. And that could, it could be plain. Even just for an event, because they could turn and go, well, no, I'm entitled to walk through this park. It is the people's park. I live in Cole, I'm entitled. And they've got a valid point.
If you read the whatever it is, what used to be bylaws, it actually says there's 27 rules on dogs and you can't ban them.
No, that's what I said, refrain from bringing it.
Can ask, but
Yeah, we can't just put a ban on there because if someone fetches up with like a seeing eye dog and that lot, or emotional support animal, you open yourself up.
That's why I said use the word refrain.
Yeah, I get that.
Please refrain from bringing pets.
Yeah, we can put that out there.
all 7 days, 80% of the people that pass through it are dog walkers. And what I fall into that category as well. They're there and you see them. The other thing I want to ask you, have a boring minded two council projects that might happen in the park here.
We've discussed the projects, and we don't think they'll cause much issue.
We can, if it came on.
Yep, yours. Sorry, Dorothy.
It's just so that we're bearing those in mind because we did use both those. Well, we used one of those spaces, didn't we?
Yeah, we've considered it, and we'll keep it in mind for obviously if the projects go ahead and whatnot. That we have got a planned event coming up, and we'll work with it.
Yeah, no problem.
Thank you very much on that one. On to Remembrance Sunday.
So everything's pretty much been done for Remembrance Sunday. So first aid and traffic management has all been sorted. We've just got to submit the road closure to Pendle. We've booked AB Brass Band and Steve Sumner, the bagpiper again. We've got Rainbow Drumming Circle leading the parade again this year. And the only thing we've got left to do is to purchase a wreath and look for a sponsor for the lamppost poppies, which I'm not too concerned about. But yeah, pretty much everything's been done for that.
Perfect for that one. Any queries about that at all? Anyone? No. On to Christmas light switch on.
So just a little bit of feedback from last year's Christmas event, because I realised we didn't have a meeting between the Christmas event and now. It was really well received despite the wet weather. People still came out throughout the day. And the night time, I don't think I've seen Colne Town Centre as busy, which was great. It's got a short video to entertain you all.
There was a question that was raised about the opening of stalls. I can't remember what.
That was excellent. Any questions for Nathan about that?
But the afternoon bit were absolutely fantastic. The only slight concern is when the children got on the stage, because it's not high enough, they were all crammed in at the front, and it was very, very difficult to see, other than the parents, if you're with me. We need to, if we had a wide enough street to be able to get more and more people to see, if it were slightly higher. I don't know if that can be done, because obviously you get the stage.
Well, we do actually. We've booked a different stage for this year. So a stage that we've booked for this year, it'll come on the Saturday morning, which means there'll be no 10 a.m. road closure on the Friday, which all the businesses will be happy. And it all unfolds out, but it's got a 46 square metre screen above the stage, and it's got a camera crew with it. So anything that's happening on that stage will appear on the screen above the stage. So anyone in that audience can see it on the screen. Because we had two comments that we got were, I couldn't see the stage from the back of the crowd. Well, we didn't expect it to be so busy, so obviously we've changed it for this year. And some of the traders packed up early, and some weren't too happy that traders around them had packed up. So we have addressed those issues, but we have got a nice new shiny stage for this year. So
that should solve the problem.
Is anyone any other feedback for last year's event?
Only good. I mean, when you consider the lousy weather for that many people to be in Colne on that sort of day, it were off. But no, I didn't do, as I say, I didn't do the night bit, so I don't know how the walk went and everything, but certainly the town centre itself were excellent.
I was going to say, hopefully by that time, Craddock Road will be two-way. So if we do shut down the main road through town, traffic can still get through. So that should be done by then, optimistically.
Optimistic indeed. Ian, what did you think of that? The torch procession, did it go all right?
The drumming was excellent.
That's where it's
Very professionally done. That was actually really good this year. The year before, we had an issue when they put the speakers on Santa's sleigh, and we were trying to, so if you want, compete with that, and it was not good. But last year was fantastic. We really enjoyed this. It was very professionally done. Oi.
So plans for this year, all the operational elements have been sorted. So that's your security for the Friday night and then on the Saturday as well. First aid, road closure, traffic management, waste management, toilets, all that sort of stuff's been arranged. So we're looking at closing the road at 6 p.m. on the Friday night. Well, after we've got rush hour out the way, most of the businesses in the town centre have closed. And that's just to give us a chance to install the market and get all the lighting in the stalls ready for the Saturday. And the fairground will come in on the Friday night as well. And then we've got the new stage book with a stage host. But like I say, the stage comes on the Saturday, it all unfolds and everything's on there. So we don't have to rig our own lighting and we don't have to put our own sound in. It's all comes as a complete package. It's actually worked out cheaper, which is quite a surprise, really. And then throughout the day, we've got face painting, we've got the reindeers again, we've got giant snow globe, rodeo reindeer, and the snowboard simulator back again. We've got Punch and Judy shows, comedy magic, balloon modelling, Christmas craft activities. We'll be doing the festive trail again, but we haven't decided on what sort of theme to do, whether we do reindeers or elves or nutcrackers. But obviously, we've got plenty of time for that. For our walkabout acts, we've got Buddy the Elf and Jovie, and then we've also got Anna and Elsa as our walkabout acts, which should be good. We'll be doing the Santa's Grotto again. We're going to be having a chat with the new market operator once that's been announced, just to see if there's any possibility of doing the Santa's Grotto in the market, because that way it keeps everything central rather than splitting teams here and up there, which should be quite good. All the stage has been filled and programmed, so we've got a variety of local performances from Park Primary School Choir, Pendle Academy of Dance, Lord Street Primary School. We've got a magic show, we've got Pendle Hippodrome Youth Theatre, we've got Frozen Sing Along, and we've also got our headline act booked, but that's not been announced yet. And then we've got the fireworks booked again. We've got Farmhouse Biscuits and McAdams kindly agreed to sponsor that event once again. And the fairgrounds been booked, and obviously we'll have the Christmas market. We are going to look at changing the layout of the market slightly. So where we have our gazebos and then it goes to traditional market stalls that are facing, which are back to back, we're going to look at putting the traditionals either side of the road facing in, so that when you walk down all the way through, you're walking down all the stalls. Because we found that some people would go down one side of the traditional market stalls and not the other side, which obviously is where they're walking through all of them. And it opens it up a little bit, which should be out with getting people up and down and out with footfall. We are working on sponsorship, talking with a couple of local businesses to get them involved, because with the new stage, there's a lot of branding opportunities for the back of the stage, above the stage, and with the screen, we can put adverts on there as well. So we are in touch with a couple of local businesses about sponsorship and partnering with us. But that's pretty much it. We're quite ahead, really. If anyone's any questions. Lovely.
Perfect. Have we received an update from Colnbit?
We have, yes. So they're in the final stages of planning for Mini Bloom, which is on Saturday, the 28th of February. They're working with Independent Street again to bring a 50-stall artisan market back to Colne, and then they'll have local entertainment, including Stage Door Youth Theatre, Pendle Ladies Choir, and then live music as well. They'll have a couple of light art installations by Handmade Productions, but there'll be no parade and no road closures. However, Parliament Street car park will be closed on the 28th of February. They're also doing the Food and Drink Festival on the 11th of July, the 70s Festival on the 12th of September, and Halloween on the 31st of October. And I've also heard that Colnbit are going to be working with Independent Street to do a monthly artisan market in Colne. I think it starts around about May time, but they're still finalising the details for that. But we've been reassured that they won't clash with any of our event dates, which is good. But that's pretty much the only update we've got.
Perfect. Thank you very much for that one. Is there any items for a future agenda? No. Thank you everyone for coming. The next meeting will be on the 10th of March.